Hello, welcome to the 7th lesson in this GarageBand series. Today we are going to be learning to create world music. We're going to recognise the features of music from a different culture. It's going to be Chinese music. We can make use of Chinese instruments and experiment with instruments to create a simple song. Now, why I've called this world music is the term world music is a Western musical category that encompasses many different styles of music from other parts of the globe. This example is Chinese music, but you could find music from other countries would also be called world music. So today I will play the kind of track we're going to create. So I think you get the idea here. So we're using some different instruments. So I'm going to go and create a new song. Plus button. So we want to go to the sound library. And within the sound library, you'll find different sound packs. So if you scroll along and you find the Chinese traditional pack, we can then press download on this. And don't worry, this does not cost anything. It is just an extra bit so that you don't have too much memory taken up if you weren't wanting to use this. So once you've done that, you'll now find these instruments available. So if I then scroll to where it says world, we then have some different instruments here. So I'm going to go for the Guzheng, and this is what it looks like. It definitely gives the connotations of that kind of culture and music. Now, we are going to create, the first track is going to be a kind of backing track to then have some other bits accompanying alongside it. So we can go to the chords, and I am going to go into the settings, and I am going to make the key signature D major. Okay, so D and major, and then back to the settings. I had already done that, and I am going to choose for this one, I think I am going to choose autoplay free. I'm going to tap on the D chord. Let's sound what it sounds like. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to record the D chord all the way through, because the way in which this music works isn't so much chordal as the changing of notes. So I'm going to press the record button and hit that D. Okay, so that is the first instrument we're going to have. Let's go to our instrument view, and I'm going to add another one of those, but now I'm going to play a melody line. So instead I'm going to go to notes. I'm going to go to notes instead of chords, and make sure it's in major pentatonic. It will probably do that automatically, but if it doesn't, select major pentatonic, and I'm going to zoom in so I can see these. So that means I can tap on the individuals. I am going to try and record a little piece over the top of this. So let's have a go. Okay, so that's a really simple bit put over the top. Of course, you can play around with that melody in any way that you want. Now, something to point out here actually is if I go to the question mark in the top right hand corner, you'll see it gives you instructions about this, and you can also click to learn more about the Guzheng, and it'll give you a little bit of more information. But do Google it as well with your teacher. Now, I'm going to go and I am going to find another instrument. If I can turn the question mark off. Find another instrument. This time I am going to find the Erhu. So this only has 2 strings. So we're going to select major pentatonic and we're going to slide the notes. And you can see down here you've got control about how slidey the notes are, how you can see, so that makes it more tremolo on the notes. So let's just record something and we'll see. So. So once I have recorded my piece, I need to go back. I noticed that sometimes it doesn't play straight away the first playback. Now it's playing correctly. Now, I am going to go and I'm going to find another instrument, and this is called the Pipa. Again, I'd suggest looking up these instruments, find out a little bit more about them. Than I know. I'm going to play on this string. So I'm going to play some notes here. So here you'll see that I was tapping on the notes rather than sliding to make it a little bit of a different sound. Again, this was in major pentatonic. So finally, we're going to add some percussion. So I'm going to go to the plus button and I am going to go to the drums and I'm going to go more sounds. And you can see I now have some different instruments. So I have a Chinese kit. So here's the Chinese kit. Now this is where the question mark comes in handy. It tells you what these different instruments are. Now my Chinese pronunciation I've not practiced, so I'm not going to try and say all of these, but essentially you've got some big drums, you've got some cymbals, you've got some gongs as well. We're going to start off with a track with just a drum beat, simple one. Something like that. And then we can maybe add some of the other percussion instruments as well. So there we are, that's a simple percussion part of the track added with the drums. I'm going to add one more of those Chinese kits. And I think I'm just going to add... I'm going to add these in just as a little bit of an extra. But I'm not going to add them all the way through, I'm just going to choose a point, maybe around bar 4 and bar 8. Let's have a listen. Now you could continue that by adding in any of the other instruments as well as you wish. Again, we can adjust the sound to match. But I think I'm actually quite happy with that track there. So have an experiment with some Chinese instruments.